guys? What is happening? Welcome to Sixers Post-Game Live. Today, the Sixers get the W, a Game 1 W over the Toronto Raptors. Final score is 131 to 111. We're breaking down our top takeaways. We're talking about player of the game, B-Ball Paul. Let's go. Joining us, our man above, he is at J_Persichetti. What's up, Justin?
What is up, my man? Listen, a great game from the Sixers. A great showing from Maxey and Harris. So we'd love to see it. Let's talk about it, man.
Let's go. And then down below, he is Tiago at Tiago PHL. What's up, man?
Toronto's in trouble, man. They're in big trouble. I thought it was 6 going in. I thought it was 5 watching, and then Scotty Barnes goes down. It may be a clean sweep. So we'll see. There's not to talk about.
Oh, man, there's so much to talk about here. So much. And then we've got my man from Philly Sports Network and the Pick Swap podcast. He is at Sean_Bernard1. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, I think we all needed that. I think we all needed to just a reminder of how good the Sixers can be. So very hyped how that game went. Definitely, like you guys said, a lot to talk about. So excited to get into it all.
I mean, where do we go from here? Of course it's Tyrese freaking Maxey, the star of the game here. He had 38 points, a plus 20 in 38 minutes in this one. Absolutely destroyed Fred VanVleet off the dribble again and again and again. Hit huge shot after huge shot. But my goodness, that third quarter performance from Tyrese Maxey tonight. 21 points, 7 of 8 from the field. Absolutely dominant. I'm going to throw it to you, Justin, first. What was your take on Tyrese freaking Maxey? Let's go.
Listen, I mean, last year in the playoffs, we saw the confidence he had at times when he was able to get in games. But this year, it's just the confidence was just on another absolute another level. The guy is just not scared of the moment. He's not. He was taking big 3-point shots when the game was closer. Just taking. Dude, you guys remember that deep 3 he took in the fourth? Or was the third I'm thinking of? Oh my God. Like, that was from the parking lot. Like, actually.
He had one of the moves in the third quarter where he finished through contact. I thought I was watching Allen Iverson. I thought I was watching the rebirth of Allen Iverson on the Philadelphia 76ers court, man. It was fucking awesome.
And funny thing is, coming into the game, he was wearing an AI jersey pregame.
Was he really?
Yep.
That's sick.
He was wearing an AI jersey.
That is sick, man. What about you, Sean? What was your take on Tyrese Maxey tonight?
Yeah, he's just a killer. Like, he just has it in him. He has that instinct. He's not afraid of any moment whatsoever. Right off the rip tonight, he was making it a point to be active in the offense, seek his own shots. Like we've talked about, this was a series that we needed him to step up with Embiid and Harden being keyed on, and they really were not keyed on as heavily as it was expected, I think, from all of us. They didn't double Embiid too heavily, but regardless, it was Maxey was the guy stepping up. The burst of quickness he has and the acceleration that he possesses, there's just nobody really in the NBA that can stick with it. And it's such a tool, and he uses that to set up everything. And that threat opens up the jumper and just the growth in the jump shot from last year. Like, this is a guy who the knock on him coming out of the draft was his shooting. And he was a 30% three-point shooter last year. And to just come out and play with the confidence, the scoring ability, and just the shots that he did tonight is absolutely insane, the growth that he's shown. And, I mean, he's just legit. The Sixers have a real deal big three with Embiid, Harden, and Maxey.
Makes you think back to when some Sixers fans wanted to trade this guy for Kyle Lowry. I'm just saying. But here's a shot chart. Look at that. Just a thing of beauty. I mean, heading into this series, Tyrese Maxey was under 50% inside the paint, less than 10 feet against the Toronto Raptors. There you go. Eat it. Love it. Enjoy it. What about you, Tiago?
Yeah, the irony of Maxey sticking to Toronto after Masai kind of passed up on him on that Lowry trade is kind of pretty sweet. I think that we're going to look back, and when it's all said and done, when Max's career is all said and done, we're going to look at this moment, this third quarter against Toronto, as like a special moment in his career where he might have announced like true stardom in the NBA. I thought that what we saw in that third quarter was special. Absolutely special. There's no debating about that. And we talked about this in the preview podcast, Chris, about how Toronto struggles to defend quickness. And we saw that in abundance today. They don't have the foot speed with their longer defenders to stay with a quicker guard. And if the Sixers want to trust Maxey more and more and more, they're going to find very easy offense through his hands. So I'm very comfortable that Maxey can duplicate, obviously, but perhaps not at the same level of efficiency, but duplicating the scoring and the playmaking that we saw today against Toronto.
Yeah. I'm just going to say I called Tyrese Maxey my player of the game during the pregame show.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's go to some comments quick before we go on to our next topic. Thomas says, Toby, underrated game. We're going to get there. I've got one more story before we get there. Chunky says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 76ers. I absolutely love it. My man Coyle is loving it. Clap your hands. Let's go. Chris says if we can win game 2 and steal another game 3 or 4, we're in good position. Coyle says, just saying, went and got a bunch of Maxey top shot moments today before this game. Let's go.
Are people still getting top shots? Is that still a thing? I haven't heard about that in a while.
I know, it's been a while. It's really been a while. But we got to talk about B-Ball Paul here. I think that is the next storyline in this game. I mean, I thought for sure we were going to see DeAndre Jordan. And as much as I dogged, Doc Rivers this season, man, what a performance from Doc Rivers in game 1 here. Just had this team ready to go. You literally just took everything the Toronto Raptors are good at and you just threw it right in their face. You look at this game, the Sixers had 2 turnovers? They had 0 turnovers in the first half. This is one of the best teams in the NBA at forcing turnovers. You look at offensive rebounds, how many offensive rebounds? The Raptors had 2 for the majority of the game. They finished with 7, but for the majority of this game, the Sixers were dominating the glass. They were beating the Raptors to death in the fast break, and B-Ball Paul played over DeAndre Jordan, and sure enough, B-Ball Paul ended up the game here. Where was it? I'm going to look at this quick. +4 in 10 minutes. Gotta love it. Let's lead off with Thiago, man. What does this mean for the series? You look at kind of the Achilles heel of the Sixers team with Embiid off the court. The Sixers were a plus with Embiid off the court in this game, man. There's a lot of positives. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if the Sixers can survive the Embiid minutes, I see this being a 4 to 5 game series, especially with Scotty Barnes potentially being out. That looked like a very serious injury. Yeah, I mean, there was one play where B-Ball Paul, I don't know if you guys remember, he actually got out on the perimeter and switched out on Fred VanVleet and contested a 3. I mean, that's what he's able to bring to the table. I mean, DeAndre Jordan would never in any capacity be able to do that. So props to Doc, man, for making the right call, for swallowing his pride. I thought it was a sensational Doc Rivers game. There was a run in the second quarter where Shake was really struggling. He immediately went to Maxey, did not let that kind of run happen for Toronto. So a lot of subtle adjustments the way he defended Gary Trent Jr. Phenomenal Doc Rivers game, and let's hope that this Paul Reed run continues because it could really help the Sixers win a championship, no questions.
Mm-hmm. Victory lap is here. The victory lap is happening, guys. My favorite B-Ball Paul play was where he found Tobias Harris cutting underneath the basket. And I don't know if Tobias finished that or what. I forget. Maybe he went to the free throw line. I don't remember. But just great awareness from Paul Reed. Those little plays, those nuances, what I absolutely love from that kid. That's what we need. What about you, Sean? What was your take on B-Ball Paul and what it means for this series?
Yeah, shout out to Doc Rivers for shoving it in all of our faces, and it really was a very good coaching performance from him. Made the right decision with B-Ball Paul. I loved hearing the B-Ball Paul chants in the arena. It's awesome to see him finally get the opportunity and to be really legitimately helping the team. To win the non-Embiid minutes, I don't think the Sixers team can be taken down if the non-Embiid minutes are being won. That's something that's such a stranger in his entire time in Philadelphia. It just has never been seen that the Sixers can extend a lead with Embiid not on the court. And just to have that happen tonight, he didn't go out of his way and do anything crazy, B-Ball Paul, but he just stayed in his role. He did his thing, and it's exactly what the team needed. So that's what you look for in a backup center. He did the job, and I'm just thrilled that it actually happened because I had a ton of doubts in my mind as well.
Yeah, you look at that second quarter where Paul Reed came in. He had a block. He was a +1 in 5 minutes. Without Embiid, that Sixers stretch there before Embiid came back in, the Sixers were a +2 without Joel Embiid, and the Raptors were just 2 of 4 in the paint. Man, just that's all. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to piggyback off of Sean, what he was saying about Paul, and that he didn't do anything super flashy, but what he really did was the little things correctly. And that was the problem before when when Reed was getting minutes, is he was kind of trying to push too hard almost and make plays rather than take what came to him. And today you saw him take what came to him, and when he did push, he got those foul calls on him. He had 4 fouls in 10 minutes. So I think that says a good portion for him, even if some of them were a little bit ticky-tack. But I think the biggest difference in him playing in the NBA and getting minutes under Doc is if he's playing smart basketball and taking what the game gives him. That's why Maxey got minutes last year when he was a rookie. Hopefully Reed and Doc can trust each other and it works out in this series. I am interested though to see if the Sixers are able to get past this Raptors team. I'll be interested to see what the lineup looks like against a team that has a little bit of bigger big men on the roster.
Yep. Quinn says B-ball screen and dive creates clear lanes for Tyrese Maxey, who is just an absolute, again, a blur on that baseline attacking the basket. Man, that is just so fun to watch. Yam says, could Tyrese Maxey become a max type player? Yes. Any quick thoughts on that?
No doubt about it in my mind. I think I would pay him whatever money he wants right now. I honestly think the Sixers should look at it as like, forget the 21st pick, forget whatever. He should be treated as if he was the first overall pick and he was a cornerstone piece of the franchise from the start, because that's what he's turning out to be.
There's a reason Daryl Morey didn't give him up the past 2 years. And you got to think as well, it's not like this is a guy who was drafted by the previous regime. Daryl Morey drafted this guy.
Well,
it's his guy.
He tried to give him up, Justin. He tried to trade him to Toronto. He tried to give him up to Toronto. And Toronto said no.
He didn't want to. They asked, and then I don't know. It's crazy. If that's true, that's crazy.
Tommy says Maxey getting love he deserves. Don't think the Raptors were able to stop him. He's too quick. Man, he was cooking Van Fleet in this game, man. Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, Justin.
I would say Tiago. I just thought about this. To be fair, that was also on a team where Ben Simmons was thought to be on this team as well. So you got to think about that as well. Like, it's not like he just thought about just trading him away while the whole Ben Simmons thing was going on.
Hey, listen, part of being a great GM is being lucky. That's just the way it is. Like, you got to be lucky sometimes, man.
Agreed.
And he got lucky on that one.
Daniel D says, if Tobias Harris can get a Maxey definitely can. Awesome Wells says, best Sixers playoff game in a long time. We've got John in the house saying greetings and salutations. What's going on, John? Steven says, playing B-ball Paul is the biggest hope that Glenn isn't much of a dope as I thought.
There's still time.
We got a lot of adjustments coming in game 2, Steven. Just saying.
Yeah, real quick on the B-ball Paul topic again. I saw Dave Yeager, or is it Yeager or Yoger?
Yeager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave Yeager. On the bench when Paul Reed was like playing good defensive minutes, when he was like rotating correctly, I literally saw him get so excited. Like when Paul Reed would close out on a 3-point shot on a rotation, he was like yes.
Thank you, God. He's
learning. Like, yes, on the bench. It was great.
Awesome Mel says, without Scotty Barnes even out for 2-3 games, we can win. Man, that injury was hard to watch. That sucks.
It really was.
He's such a great young player. Yeah. Steven says Glenn having JoJo to start in the 4th was another go for the kill, kind of thinking that Glenn hasn't shown all year. It's not that hard, Glenn. It's not that hard. Yeah.
Does Doc had money in this game? Because he was playing the starters with like 2 minutes left. Does he have the over on the game or something?
I don't know, man. He was in there. I was like, we were watching with my buddy with a group, and I was like screaming at the TV to take Embiid out, because there was a couple plays where Embiid's like on the floor, like mixing it up with the Raptors. I was like, no need. We're up 20 plus. Like, anyway, John says Rivers played B-ball Paul because the Raptors don't have a big center. Yeah. Awesome Wells says Nurse will adjust with swarming D. I mean, I thought they swarmed Embiid a lot in this game, so I don't know. I mean, you saw it like the start of the second quarter. The Raptors started flailing and flopping, and you knew as a competitor as an athlete, like it was in their head. Like they were outmatched, outclassed in every single way. The Doc Rivers and the Sixers completely took everything that the Raptors thrive on and just shoved it right in their face, man. It was.
One thing I thought that the Sixers did to counter that. First of all, they pulled Embiid more outside the paint, so Embiid was operating more from the perimeter, which didn't allow Toronto to set their defense up. And the second thing, like they really try to get early in the shot clock, so the Sixers would try to get in their offense very early. I mean, I want to see what the numbers look like, but I imagine most of their offense came within like 15 seconds to 20 seconds in the shot clock. They didn't really do a lot of like half-court setup stuff. It was very quick. Didn't allow Toronto at all to be comfortable defensively. So again, another great adjustment by Doc Rivers.
There's two things that I saw in this game that are the differences between how the Raptors used to be able to play the Sixers and how they have to play them now. One is Embiid's just IQ when getting double teamed, making smart passes. The turnovers did not come as they have in the past when they played the Raptors, whether it be this year or in years prior, as well as the big difference is Sixers were making shots. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Milton was hitting shots at the end of the game. Niang was hitting shots. Maxey obviously as well. Even though Harden wasn't hitting, Harris was hitting. It was everyone picked up for what the Raptors defense was giving them. And I think that's the biggest thing is in the past when the Raptors have beat up on the Sixers haven't been able to take what the Raptors were giving them. They were able to do it today, and it came in big numbers from your, I guess, supporting cast and Maxey and Harris. I have a kind of a question for you guys. Does this game at all concern you with Harden whatsoever?
I was happy. Yeah, I was happy with the James Harden game today. Once again, I think his biggest role in this team is as a facilitator, and he did that masterfully today. I mean, there were plenty of looks that did not hit that could have been assists for him, and he still. The thing I did like tonight more than typically is I thought he attacked the basket way more aggressively and way more often. Like he didn't just sit back and wait for the step back three. There was times where he actually shook a guy and attacked the basket hard. The first time he got to the free throw line in the first half, where the announcers were kind of joking about like him hyping up the crowd because he got the call, that one he just took it strong to the basket. And it's like, if you're doing that, we are all good and all on the same page. That's what we're looking for.
Speaking of something you said about him going to the basket a little more decisively, in transition, I liked that a lot more. Like he wasn't just kicking out or wasn't just running into people. He was actually Euro-stepping away from people and getting easy layups in transition. I think that to me was a huge difference in his offense for some reason. But yeah, I agree. I saw some things in my timeline during the game that people are like, "Oh, this game's gonna be bad. Harden's inefficient. No and I was like, he's getting efficient shots for other guys, and he's still a threat. Like that is the biggest difference between this year's playoffs, in my opinion, and last year's. You look at your point guard, you have a legitimate threat from anywhere on the court. No matter if he's making shots or not, he's got the threat, and people are going to play out on him, which means he's going to be able to dime up other people. And that pass to Maxey in transition is exactly what I'm talking about. My God, was that an insane pass and make by Maxey, by the way.
He could have had like 20 assists tonight easily.
I thought it was a great Harden game, and I don't look at the shooting here. Like it didn't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought he was beating guys around the corner pretty well in this game. Like he was beating Van Fleet as well, get off the dribble with very little difficulty. And I was actually impressed. So for me, I thought like Harden took so many step back threes over the last 2 weeks. Like it feels like it was just like he was punking the Toronto Raptors because he was making decisive passes on those every single time, especially in that first half, man. It was like a step back pass to the corner to Tobias or to Danny Green or Tyrese Maxey. It was a really good James Harden game. But we got to talk about a guy that we've also kind of dogged a lot this year, and that is Tobias Harris, who had arguably, I think, one of his best games in his Sixers career. He ended this game with 26 points. He was a plus 17. He had 6 assists, 9 of 14 from field goal range, 3 of 5 from 3. Thiago, I'm throwing this one to you, man. What was your take on Tobias Harris stepping up in a big, big way, especially in that first half?
Tobias has been playing well, man. Outside of like the last game here and there, he's been playing really well. I think that the way that he has absorbed his role since Harden has come in has been exceptional. It hasn't all been great, but He's accepted the fact that he's no longer a playmaker on this offense. You see how well he plays off the attention that Embiid gets, the attention that Harden gets. He sees a ton of open looks, and he's much quicker in his decision making, much faster with his shooting. He's shooting the ball very well. And he gives you kind of like a fourth option, shot creating option, which you guys, how many teams have a Tobias Harris as a fourth option on their team? There's not a single team in the playoffs that has that type of talent as a fourth option. So you get this level of output from your fourth best player. That is a big problem. And you saw how his size played on the offensive glass. He played off Embiid cutting to the basket, played off Harden cutting to the basket. So this is the ideal Tobias Harris game. And there's a lot less pressure on him. Like last year, there was more pressure on him to deliver. You don't feel the same type of pressure on him this year. It's a lot easier for him, it feels like. So
something that I liked as well. Sorry, real quick. Something that I liked as well that he did was not only did he play like decisively, but off ball, he was cutting to the rim and getting himself open shots down low. And I think that's a value that he has IQ wise that some guys maybe wouldn't at that 4 spot, is that yes, he can hit a 3, he can shoot 35+% from 3, but he also is smart enough to know, hey, I got to duck in here. My boy's getting doubled, Maxey and Embiid, Harden getting doubled on the outside. So I think that was definitely really a positive thing to see out of him as well.
Even the energy plays, like getting the offensive board and finding Matisse Thybulle for that 3, like he was doing all the little things. Like he saw the mismatch with Embiid down low and dumped it down, and Embiid got an N1, I think, in that first half. He was doing all the little things, not just hitting shots, but Tobias was everywhere on this court. Sean, what's your take on Tobias Harris, man?
Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head for the most part. I think Toby deserves a ton of credit for making the sacrifices that he has this year and reworking his game into a way that fits the Sixers offense best. And that's what he's had to do, is adjust a lot of things, and he has. I thought tonight was just about as solid of a Tobias Harris game as we could ask for. Ending with 26 points, pretty crazy there. It's great to have that as kind of a reassuring option in this. And I really think that the pieces around Embiid was what made everything come together. And Toby played a major role in that. Like, I think that's what the whole unraveling of this Raptors defense was guys like Tobias hitting shots. So glad he showed up tonight. And if this is the Tobias we're getting throughout the playoffs, we're in very good shape.
Amen. Let's go to some comments. The cross-court double team, I'm assuming based on the chat talk. All right. I don't know what that means. Did I miss that?
He said he missed the game, and someone was telling him about like what was going on.
Oh, okay.
If Joel and Harden protect the ball like they did tonight, series will be over in 5. I think if Joel and Harden protect the ball like they did tonight, series might be over in 4. To be honest with you, if I don't see like another way for Toronto to really defend this team, because Joel is going to eat if you're not doubling him.
Yeah.
Right? And he's the only guy I'm really, really concerned about turning the ball over when that happens. So if you decide not to double him and cover the shooters because they're hitting all series, you're kind of screwed. He's just going to put your big man in under the basket. That's what's going to happen.
Well, my biggest positive, well, one of the biggest positives for the Sixers in winning the series was how dominant and how elite the Sixers starters are. Look at this. Look at the minutes here. James Harden played 40 minutes. Embiid played 37 minutes. Tobias Harris, 37 minutes. Yeah. Tyrese Maxey, 38 minutes. I had major question marks about Doc's rotations and what those would look like. Like, there was a full quarters of this game where Embiid played the entire length of, especially the first quarter. So, I give Doc so much credit. And if this is what we're going to see, man, a lot of reasons to be happy if you're a Sixers fan.
Yeah. One adjustment, I think, they can do a couple adjustments. One, they can play more zone to just nullify Embiid off the game. But then he said the shooting becomes an issue. The second thing that they can do is perhaps play Birch a little more, because Birch is a stronger center. Not as big, but he's a sturdier player. But then you're sacrificing offensively because Toronto likes to spread you out and attack with Siakam. And you're not going to spread them out with Birch on the court. So they're going to be sacrificing even more offense for a team that's not particularly a great offensive team. So they're the crossroads of what they can do to counter Embiid. And like Justin's saying, if you're gonna play Embiid straight up, it's going to be a bloodbath. So I'm very confident that the Sixers have multiple alternatives to what Toronto can throw at them. The same cannot be said for Toronto. Like, Toronto is clearly at a matchup disadvantage, and their way of playing this matchup is going small, and it was just a bloodbath tonight. So I'm interested to see what he does.
Dude, I just thought about this. Did they really didn't run a lot of pick and roll with Embiid and Harden today, did they?
No, not much.
Like that was something that I really expect to see more of, and I don't honestly. I'm trying to think. I didn't see a lot of that.
Well, I think they do, but Toronto, they sell out on Embiid a lot. They just sell out on Embiid, which creates those corner looks. So they run.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
They run that action.
That makes sense why Tobias got so open in the left far corner a lot. That makes sense.
All right, last up before we get into player of the game, I wonder who that could be. We got to talk about Pascal Siakam and how the Sixers handled this guy. I mean, the majority of his damage was in the first half or in the second half. Really only had 8 points in the first half. I thought the Sixers did a really good job of challenging him at the shot point on a lot of his shots, and he was just hitting it. He was just hitting those pull-ups. Here is his shot chart. Pascal Siakam ended up in this game with 24 points. He was a minus 19, 9 of 18 from the floor. Wow. You look at Pascal Siakam, like in the regular season, I think it was 21 of 29 inside the paint. Like, the Sixers have never had an answer for him down low. And so let's go on to how you guys think the Sixers managed Pascal Siakam today. Lead us off, Justin.
Well, the only answer the Sixers had in the past was Ben Simmons, just purely based on size and length. You're going to have a problem with him unless you have him beat on him, which they really didn't most of the game. Most of the game it was Tobias, if I'm remembering correctly. So it wasn't shocking to me that he was getting those shots. Most of the time when he was going around the rim, it was – I think it did. Maybe might have done it once on Embiid where he really got him down low. So they're going to try to throw Toby at him. I could see maybe them saying, hey, let's try to throw Paul Reed at him a little bit more if he's really if they're really having a hard time to try to break a run maybe. But other than that, I don't see many changes.
Thiago, any thoughts?
Pascal Siakam is not going to win you this series. It's not going to happen. They need somebody else to step up. Who is that going to be? I don't know. But Pascal Siakam can do all this stuff every game. That isn't going to win your series. It's just not going to happen. So we'll see who else steps up for them. I'm interested to see perhaps, Fred VanVleet or OG, somebody else kind of takes on the reign. I thought Fred played pretty well today. He shot the ball particularly well towards the second half. So we'll see. But this isn't going to win your series, man. This is not going to win your series. Sorry.
Yeah, and Gary Trent Jr., like, you barely heard his name in this entire game. What about you, Sean?
I
series.
I do want to give a shout out to Tobias for his effort when he was matched up with Siakam tonight, because he stood his ground and competed in a much more effective way than I expected going in. So I'm glad he was able to do that. And I also would like to say that Scotty Barnes' x-rays were negative. So some positive news there that it's not a major injury for him. I still think it's pretty likely he misses, if not all of this series, a good portion of it, but I'm happy to see it's not a long-term injury.
I would say if it's negative, it may be more of a pain tolerance thing than anything. Because I think most people have had an ankle sprain in their life. It looked like a really bad one, obviously. But if there was no structural damage, they may let him play. Genuinely.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Steven says I could see Toronto winning 2 at home, depending on the Barnes injury. I think we took a major effort from Toronto and matched the effort and then some, man. That was like it, man. Isn't that it? Like, how much the Raptors crashed the glass, how much they thrive in transition, how much they pride themselves on getting extra possessions. The Sixers beat them up in all 3 facets in this game, man. There's so many reasons to be positive here. Yem says Maxey is literally the 3rd best 3-point shooter in the league.
Yeah.
Kamar says,
sorry, my bad.
Sorry. Yam says no cap Maxey reminds me of a young Dame Lillard. I love that.
The confidence wise, I will say when the confidence that Dame had coming into the league, I can sort of agree with that confidence wise. Maybe not play, but confidence wise, definitely.
All right. Let's go into player of the game. Lead us off, Justin. Who's your player of the game?
Do I take the easy one? I think I got to take the easy one. I'm sorry, guys. But Tyrese Maxey, man, I shit you not. I was sitting in the family room by myself watching this game, and when he hit that deep three, I literally jumped up and ran around my family room one time, just one time. But it's so exciting to me to watch a guard like that. As someone who didn't watch a lot of basketball growing up and kind of started watching basketball in like the Ben Simmons era, seeing a point guard on my favorite team do the kind of things he's doing at such a young age is just absolutely phenomenal to me. And it's so fun to watch and just watching someone have fun with it too. Because not only is he confident and live up to the confidence he shows, is he has so much fun playing the game too. And that's what it is. It's a game and he has fun playing it, and I love to watch it.
What about you, Sean? Who's your player of the game?
I'm giving mine to James Harden. I know it may not be the eye test or the eye popping thing people are like hoping for, but for me tonight was exactly what I'm hoping for on a nightly basis from James Harden. He controlled the pace, he ran the offense, he created looks for everyone all over, and he still did his thing. I love the way he attacked the rim. He had I don't want to say it's fully back, but I did feel like there was more of a burst than there had been in towards the end of the regular season. I was happy to see him get downhill way more, and if we get that kind of effort throughout this playoffs, I'm completely satisfied with that.
Hey man, what about you, Thiago?
I'm gonna go with Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Love it. Sorry, Chris. I know you're a huge Doc Rivers fan. Oh man, like we talked about this. Just get out of the way. The team is extremely talented. They're extremely talented. They're gonna be pain in the ass to deal with. You just gotta get out of the way. And I thought he did a very good job of getting out of the way today. Just let these guys play. And if you need to make an adjustment, if you need to throw in something different, you do it. But play your best players. And I thought he did a great job of doing that today. And I think if he does that for this series, the Sixers should win rather easily. And then we'll see against Miami. I think the Sixers match up very well against Miami. Same thing happens, and then we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. So far, so very good. Let's not hope the Sixers are up 3-1, though, because we don't know how that works out.
I'll go Tobias Harris. I was going to go Doc, but for me, it's Tobias Harris. He was decisive with the ball. He was making good reads, setting others up in the paint, in the perimeter, crashing the offensive glass. Just what a Tobias Harris game, man. Just absolutely terrific. He's been playing really good basketball. Just so glad to see it carry over, man. There were so many questions heading in, especially Tobias Harris defending Pascal Siakam and vice versa, and pretty much negated that entire situation, that entire matchup between Tobias and Siakam. Tobias had, 26 points in this one? Just unbelievable. Way to go, Tobias Harris. Excellent performance. So for final grades, what we're going to do is grading tonight's performance, but also real quick on how you think game one changes your initial outlook on the rest of the series. Lead us off, Thiago. You're muted, man.
Sorry. Couldn't brought up the fact that Shake was the one that had the final turnover, so the Sixers did not break the playoff record.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, Shake.
I didn't know that was a record. That's crazy.
God damn it. I thought the performance tonight was A+ across the board. I had the Sixers in 6 going in. Watching the game, I thought 5. If the Scotty Barnes injury is really serious, I think the Sixers can actually sweep him off the court. So I'm going to stick with 5 for the rest of the way.
Woo! 6 and 5 for Thiago. Sean, what's your grade and what does this mean for the rest of the series?
Yeah, I think it was an A+ effort tonight for sure. They pretty much checked every single box I was looking forward to see tonight. Incredibly encouraging. When I originally had Sixers in 7, I'm not as. I think the Raptors will find a way to adjust somehow. So I wouldn't declare this series over by any means, but I'll bump it down to Sixers in 6 maybe.
What about you, Justin? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. Before I was like, okay. I really thought this game could go 6. I was serious. I'm sorry. I think I'm still gonna say 6 for now, just because, like Sean, I agree. I think the Raptors have a chance to adjust. I also don't think that you're going to see Fred VanVleet getting that much foul trouble every game. I don't think you're going to see Chris Boucher getting that much foul trouble every game. And I also think there's going to be some games where the refs are not so nice to Embiid with giving calls, just like they weren't at times this game as well. Maxey had a damn there perfect performance tonight, and Harris went off when Harden was inefficient and Embiid was inefficient at times. So I don't know. I think the series definitely has a chance to go in a different direction, but overall today I'll give the grade an A. I don't think you can go any lower than that.
Oh, it's an A+ for me. Yeah, and I'm going to move the sticks a little bit. I said Raptors in 6. I'll say, I'm trying to stay objective. It's just one game. It's just one game. Nick Nurse has a lot to adjust to, and so will Doc in game 2. So I'm going to move the sticks a little bit and say Raptors in 7. I have to see more. It's not enough. It's just one game. But what I love about this was I was really encouraged. The B-ball Paul minutes. He did have 4 personal fouls, but the team was an actual positive on the court without Joel Embiid. And B, I didn't expect Maxey to just carve or guards in general to carve up the Raptors backcourt as much as they did and just penetrate into the paint. And it was just a top to bottom A+ effort. Fighting, hustling, getting loose balls. These are all the things that the Raptors pride themselves on, and I was just blown away. I thought they just took everything the Raptors did successfully this entire season and just shoved it right in their face, man. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, there was a Nick Nurse quote just came out complaining about the officiating, saying that Embiid should have been called for like 4 or 5 fouls. To me, that is a sign that he knows they're in trouble.
See? All right, so
That's a sign that Toronto knows that they're in trouble.
I caught that in the second period. You could see just the Raptors, like physically and just psychologically, they knew. They knew what, like when you're an athlete, like you could see it. You could see their body language and that, like, oh fuck, like they had no chance.
No, but that's so true, though. That's so true.
You saw them flopping, you saw them flailing, you saw them trying to get every little ticky-tack call on Joel Embiid. Like, that's not Raptors basketball. Raptors are a pretty fundamental, like, I think, disciplined basketball team. You knew that, like, they threw all that out the window. You're like, when a team starts becoming desperate like that, especially that early on, you know that, like, they were just getting manhandled. It was really interesting.
Can I say when Maxey in the third quarter was going off and went over and like was talking to the crowd at the Raptors bench and no one did anything about it, I was like, this team's done. Like as soon as I saw that happen, like, a veteran playoff team is going to get up and like get in someone's face if they come to their bench trying to show out like that. 100%. If you're playing the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks, you're going to see someone stand up and try to say something to Maxey in that moment, and it didn't happen. I was like, this team's done.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Lead us off, Sean. Where can we find you, man? What do you got going over there? Go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. You can also check out all Swap Podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Drop a subscribe, and you can also check out my written work at PhillySportsNetwork.com and at Clutch Points for all NBA coverage.
My man kills it over there, Sean. Excellent job. Well deserved, man.
Yes,
on
sir.
the new job, man. Awesome
Yes.
stuff. Go follow Sean on Twitter, please. Big time. Amazing Sixers Twitter follow. Tiago, what do you got going on, man?
Yeah, man, you can follow me at TiagoPHL. We are the Painted Lines. You can catch me on Twitter screaming about Doc Rivers and how I think he's a top 5 coach of all time.
It's either Doc Rivers or Jason Tatum, one of the two. I don't know if you could talk about Jason Tatum as much at this point, but definitely
There's
Doc
still
Rivers.
time. There's still time. I'm still holding a couple tweets out there for this Brooklyn series.
This is the Doc Rivers victory tour. Sure, ironically enough, that's what we're dealing with. What if we it's so funny. What about
Doc
you,
Rivers
Justin?
is phenomenal today. I'll definitely
So
gladly give him his credit if it means the Sixers win a championship.
100%.
100%. Yeah, man. You can go follow me on Twitter at @J_Persichetti. Blue coat stuff, Sixers stuff, honestly anything. But speaking of blue coats, they made it to the G League finals and got beat pretty handily by I think it was the Vipers. So that's the Rockets G League team. So funny, pretty wild games, definitely. Charles Bassey did not play. Charles Bassey obviously still injured, has that right shoulder injury. But my God, Miles Powell down there is just out of his mind good offensively at times. Jaden Springer, I definitely think Jaden Springer has an opportunity. Believe it or not, I think in the next 2 years, I think you could see Jaden Springer be something. Just a matter of having an opportunity to be something in the NBA at some point. We'll see if Doc Rivers is the coach. I doubt he plays, but who knows if Doc's even here next year? Let's be real.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please be sure to smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you love the Philadelphia 76ers and playoff W's. And Tyrese Maxey, 21-point third quarters. Go follow everyone here. Awesome Twitter follows, I promise you. And the Pick Swap podcast, all of Sean's work at Philly Sports Network. And then everything here at thepenalines.com. For Justin, for Tiago, for Sean, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.